think I'm going to start a little bit early today, because I'm gonna go to bed as soon as I'm done with this. But how is y'all's week going? I sorry I wasn't able to get on Monday. I was not feeling good. One of the reasons why I came up with the schedule is so that I could have moments like that, and it's not such a dent on me trying to get these lives out and things like that. But I hope that y'all watch the video. That's the next ingredient, no distractions, from Monday. I was going to get on. I normally get on. I like to get on when I release the video that day, so that we could discuss the video. So that's what we'll do today. Um, my name is Daryl Phillips, owner of New World Play J Gaming, and what we do here is listen to you talk. But today, in light of the video that was released on Monday, I want to discuss that video, just discuss some and reiterate some points that I made in that video about where you want to do it, why you do it, why it's so important. There's so many distractions in your life. You know what I mean? Even your own family can be a distraction. Your children, and or your husband, or your wife, or your friends, or whatever. It's very important to decision making to have your brain clear. See, the idea of the ingredients is that you are training your mind to think a different way. So much discovery can be made through that concept, all right? That, like, even by accident, you might discover something about yourself or about something that you're going through that you never ever thought about it before, all right? And you don't. The reason why they're in that order, you got to have the want to. You got to vent your bull crap out of your head, the negative stuff, the stuff that's not useful, out of your head, so that you could fill your head with the advice or several people's advice, and then you take that advice without distractions. Now, what do I mean by that exactly? I mean, you have to go meditate. Well, some people do. Nothing wrong with meditation, but that's not everybody's. That doesn't float everybody's boat. Sorry, I keep looking over here. Like I said, my chat. I keep reminding you guys that my chat's over here. So, I can have my chat behind me too, but it doesn't really do me any good. Anyway, so, but there, it's so vital and so important. I got myself off track. Sorry. It's so important because once you're getting that advice, you don't need a bunch of people trying to persuade you to listen to their advice. All right? Because what ends up happening is maybe some of their advice isn't for you. Now, they're going to take it like you rejected their advice. No, you didn't. Just because you accept part of someone's advice and reject some of it doesn't mean you've rejected their advice. It just means that you have to tweak it. I gave an example, I think a couple days ago, or a couple lives ago, or maybe last live, can't remember which one, where I was talking about my Roth IRA. I knew that I needed to save money. But Daryl's got a slight problem. He has bipolar disorder. I have compulsion. It's part of the brain disorder. It's the inability to be able to basically stop yourself sometimes. Okay. Well, in other words, They even ask you when you go and let's say you suspect maybe you might have an issue, maybe you suspect you have bipolar disorder. Well, one of the questions that they ask several times because they want to make sure you're telling the truth on the test to test you to see if that you have bipolar disorder is they'll ask you, do you have a hard time keeping money in your pocket? Promiscuity comes from that too. The inability to say no to sex. In this case, we're talking about money. So, I know that Dave Ramsey knows what he's talking about. And I know that every single thing he says, he is dead on. Well, then I'm effed. Because part of the reason why he has his steps is to train your mind how to save money. So I'm doing the same thing with your decision making and confidence and so forth and so on with my steps and my ingredients. Dave Ramsey talks about the first thing you need to do is save up $1,000. That's a problem because that is never going to happen with me. There is zero chance on God's green earth that I'm going to have $1,000 in my hand ever. No matter how much I work on my life. Well, guess what? Then I'm effed. No, because I tried it last October. I started trying to save $1,000, and every time I would give Sophia money to save back, it would be spent by the end of the month, slowly but surely. Because I would convince myself, oh, I can just take a couple dollars here. And I can take a couple dollars there. So it began to frustrate me. And I'm thinking, God, what am I supposed to do? I know he's right, but what am I supposed to do? So I said, screw it. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have Sophia open up a Roth IRA, which is one of the steps he has. And I'm going to have to save money that way. It cannot be in my hand. Now you say, yeah, but you're skipping over a step. Well, now I can draw out $1,000. In other words, now I've trained my mind in a different way. I religiously, every single month, put in $300 in that Roth IRA. And I have over $3,000 in that Roth IRA. So now I can just take $1,000 and draw it out and do it. Go back and do step one and keep that back if I need to. Okay, because I'm not using a Roth IRA for a savings account. I'm not using it for a retirement account. I'm using my Roth IRA for something different. I have a different idea of how I'm going to use that. My point is, do you see what happened? I didn't reject Dave Ramsey's advice. I had to tweak it. So when I give you guys advice or I show you guys something that maybe it's different that you guys are thinking, don't feel like you have to accept everything I'm saying as far as advice-wise. So long as you're going within the guidelines of the ingredients and you understand the concept of what I'm trying to do and you're doing it in your own life, that's just fine. You're trying to change your life. You're trying to change your thinking. You're trying to change the way you are. Okay? So once you get to this, once you are ready to make it, in other words, once you have gathered all of the advice that you may need in a specific situation, what you want to do is you want to go somewhere. Go somewhere where you know that your synapses are going to be firing the best. Maybe you're not one of those peaceful people. Like, in other words, maybe you're a person that needs to go and go do batting practice by yourself. Or maybe you need to grab one of your friends and say, look, I want to throw around a football, but I don't really want to talk. I want to talk about throwing the football, but I don't really. I'm actually thinking. If you're able to do that, Um, in my case, I showed you a couple different places in that video. I love walking. Now, it's more difficult now with my legs being messed up. But still, I will sit out there on that patio, and I have these little phone games. So I will sit there and play my phone game and do thinking. While I'm cutting and editing these videos I do, I use that as a time, because basically I know how to do it now, so I don't have to necessarily concentrate on. In other words, if I have to concentrate on something else, it's missing the point of no distractions. So in other words, don't think that, well, I can go to work and do that. You might not be able to. If you have to focus on your work and it's taken away from your work, you worry about your work. And like I mentioned in the video, my cousin Christy has children. She's very busy. What I've tried to tell her, I hint around with her, is that she doesn't have much time. So maybe she takes 15 minutes out of the day. Now, that's not much time. It'd be preferable if it'd be more, right? However, just 15 minutes a day to actually get your thoughts together on what you did that day. Really, you want to vent that out to somebody else. But the point is, so that maybe you're thinking about something that happened that day and you want to do something a little bit better the next day. Do you see what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to be like the most serious of decision making. It doesn't have to be like, am I going to get married or something? It can be anything. Like, this applies to anything. How do you get better every day? How do you get better every week? I have a process of the way I do it, and I'm going to do some videos on some techniques, some different things, like some ways to think about your days and your weeks and your months and your years. So, for example, in the morning time, I treat my days the same way I treat my weeks, the same way I treat my months, the same way I treat my years. For example, in the morning, I wake up, usually before Sophia, but if not, the point is, she has to go in there and take a shower. And I'm going to have all the alone time I want to, because she's moving to Minnesota. So in the morning time, I use that as my time to think about what I'm going to do that day. What are the goals that I'm going to be doing that day? I didn't write down anything in the comment section. Excuse me, I messed up. Let me write something down. I should have wrote something down. Sorry guys, one second please. What's cool about OBS is I can actually do this on there if I was facing the computer. But anyway, be disgusting. The fourth, and I always find it silly when people do this. I'm doing it anyway. Ingredients. Whoops. Okay. One more thing. 1 second, guys. Okay. Sorry about that. I forgot to. They recommend you put an opening message so that people know what you're doing. Sorry, I messed up tonight. All right. So anyway. So the harder the decision that you have to make, the more you're going to want to be able to think on it, and that's obvious, or it should be obvious. So you're not going to want a bunch of stuff around you. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, the harder the decision, okay, the more you don't want to be, you need to focus on that thing. Which is why when you're doing things like trying to do it at work, or doing it while you're babysitting, or doing it while you're taking care of your own children, or doing it while you're cooking, that's great if you can get away with it. But if you start burning yourself while you're cooking, or you're burning the food because you're not focusing on the food, probably choose another time. Probably choose another activity or another thing that you do. You know what I mean? So for me, in the morning times is the way I contemplate on the future of that day. Okay? Now, depending upon what the day of the week, let's say it's Sunday, so it's the first day, in the morning time on the first day of the week, I think about what I'm going to be doing that week as well. And if it's the first day of the month, then I think about what I'm going to be doing that month also. So long-term goals. And also if it's the first day of the year, same thing. So for example, New Year's Eve, or around the time about a week before New Year's Eve, I start reflecting, which goes into the nighttime part of it. I reflect on my year. So at nighttime, I reflect on my day. You see how that works? So it's just like you're using the same concepts. One is for day, one is for week, one is for month, and one is for year. That's the way I do it. But you may have a different process on how you're doing these ingredients. But for me, I want to improve every single day in some way. I want to learn something every day. You say, well, Daryl, you don't learn something every day. Yes, you do. All of your answers are around you. All of your answers are around you. It's in books, it's in people, it's in your friends, it's in strangers. It's on people on people you work with, on people that you care about. It's on things, activities, actions. Every single answer you will ever do can be learned without a teacher. You have to do the work, though. I have a GED. All right? So I have to really pay attention and learn. And I know that the people that know me will say, well, Daryl, you're a really smart guy. This has nothing to do with brains. I'm talking about anything. Okay? If you want to learn it, remember, want to. If you're carrying your first ingredient, that's the beginning. Want to. I've told this story a couple times, and it's useful to tell it again. So, Dwan and I, this is 2021, I think. Yeah, this was the end of 2021. Let's say October of 2021. Okay. And I had started to do my videos. I had released a few videos, and I was a newbie beyond newbie. I didn't even know how to do graphics design as much as I knew how to just put stuff on there to make the videos look good. So if you look at my first videos, they are much different than the new ones, because I was just putting words on the screen and making them look pretty, but not really designing them myself, not really doing it myself. I didn't know anything about it. Well, I didn't like it. Everybody else liked it, but I was very unpleased by it. And I was venting one day to Dwan as I was coming down the stairs. And I basically kind of told him, I said, man, I don't want to be one of these stupid graphics designer guys. And he had this sly smile on his face. And I look at him with one of my looks, and I go, I'm going to end up being one of those graphics designer guys, aren't I? He goes, yup. And the reason why he said it like that was because he knew I wanted it. He knew that I was not going to stop and that I was going to get down into the nitty-gritty, and I was going to learn what I needed to learn to make them better. So now, all of the graphics that you see, I did. Yeah, you got to type in the words, but I put the pretties on there. I'm not bragging to you, but I did learn that, and I don't have a college education. Anything in this world you can learn. It's all there. All there. So when you're going and thinking about what you need to do, you need to try to think about all aspects. What are you trying to do? Do you want to be a better father? Do you want to be a better brother? Do you want to be a better sister, daughter, son, wife, co-worker, boss? Whatever relationship you're speaking of. Owner? I'm having to learn so much about business, it's not even funny. Because I have a business license, right? No. That'll come in time. LLC. I mean, I have enough money to get one. I have to make sure I come up with a pointed plan and make sure I write everything out and have all my understand what I need to be sending into the Secretary of State of Texas. That's who you have to write the letter to, and he'll give you an LLC. I got to pay $300 for Texas. And then it'll be Noir Apologia Gaming LLC, and then I will be legitimate to everyone. That's coming, but I need to work some things out. Dwan passed away. Some things have to change. I've had to do a lot of thinking. So I've had a lot of different places I've had to think, and a lot of different things I've had to change. And what do I do about this? What do I do about that? I got 2 channels that I have that I can't do anything with yet because I just don't have time. I've got to figure out a way I have to do things, and this takes no distractions for me. I have to do it or quit. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to do things half-assed anymore. That's what I used to do. If I truly claim that I've changed my life, that's the attitude you want from me. Well, that's the attitude you want for yourself. Listen to this. People that say you can't change are wrong. Maybe they've chosen, you might choose not to do something. Maybe you're satisfied with where you are. That's fine. I will never be satisfied with where I'm at. And most ambitious people aren't. Does that make me better than you? No. It just makes me different. Usually, smart people are not going to ever be satisfied with the things that you're satisfied with. I can never be satisfied with this business so long as I'm not trying to innovate it and make it better. Because it's not about Daryl, it's about you. So what are the things that I think about when I'm outside with no distractions? What am I thinking about? Because you say, well, what does your business have to do with my life? It has nothing to do with your life, actually. The process has everything to do with your life, though. It's because you need to ask the right questions. How do I do this? It's not just about thinking about that advice. How do I do, like maybe someone, like in the case of Dave Ramsey and what I was talking about my Roth IRA. How do I save money? Because Daryl can't do it that way. I can't do the first step properly. Will I what? I just give up? There's a great attitude. Yeah, listen to Daryl. Give up when you freaking have problems. No, man. Okay? You got that? So in my case, how? Why? Oh, the why is so important. Why do you want to do this so bad? Daryl, why is it that your friend passes away? And I don't think any of you that know me would have even blamed me had I quit. Do you know who would have blamed me though? Me. Because I just think about all the conversations that me and Dwan, even after his death, I think about all of the advice that he's given me. The next ingredient is knowing that you're not alone. That's why that's important. Because even after a person leaves this planet physically and they're no longer here, you can still take their advice. It is the most awesome thing. And that is, I'm telling you, the fifth ingredient, the next one, is the most powerful ingredient you're going to carry. In fact, you may not want to. You may not be ready to talk to a bunch of people about your stuff. You may not be ready to take advice, which implies that you're not going to have no distractions. Probably you have a lot of distractions. But having that fifth ingredient, even that can start all of it, knowing that you're not alone. So when I'm alone, I know that I can take advice from people that are alive, people that are passed away, like my mother, like Dwan. I'm a Christian and I believe in Christ, and he's like not here anymore physically. Kind of works for me. You got that one? That's why knowing you're not alone is important. Because you're not going to have much of a faith in God if you actually think you're alone, because then you don't believe in God. Sorry. God is everywhere, and he's everywhere all at one time. He's all around you. If you're a Christian. If you're not, sorry. But I'm just letting you know that atheist, Christian, doesn't matter. It is one of the most awesome things for me to recall something my mother told me. When she died? 2002? Think about something my mother told me from 1998 or 1997 or 2000 or something that I learned as a kid, and recall it and be able to use it and understand what she was trying to tell me in the first place. Hallelujah. And then Dwan, behind this camera here, over in that corner, is that picture that you guys have seen. The picture that we used for the memorial, if you haven't seen it. Of Dwan sitting on that rock when we were on top of that mountain. And I look at that picture and I smile to myself. Because he's here right now. Physically, he's not, but he's in this room because he's in this head. It's the most encouraging thing in the world to know that you can take advice from somebody, even someone that you might not necessarily always get along with, and know that you took that advice and you did it to the best of your ability. Change isn't easy, all right? Changing anything isn't easy. But here, I'm going to leave you guys on this thought. Then I'm going to get off. Young people don't have a problem changing their mind because they're young. They don't know better. I love how older people say they don't know better. No, you just forgot. They do know better. They're testing the waters. You forgot how to. What I notice about people is we reach a certain age and all of a sudden now we're wise and we have no more learning to gain. The only thing I say to that is for shame. What a waste. So you think that because you have a couple kids, you have a beautiful family and all this other stuff, that you have nothing else to gain. Nothing else. There's nothing else that you can learn. Your family's perfect. Maybe you go to church every Sunday. Maybe you don't go to church every Sunday. Maybe you're just a good person. Got good friends. But there's nothing else for you to learn because you've had all these things. You have forgotten how to be different. That even in a perfect life, which by the way, since I am a Christian, I do believe that there is a God, and I believe that God is the only thing that's perfect. You are not perfect. So, just throwing that out there. In fact, in the Bible, Paul refers to life like a race. He says, I run as though, not as though I beat against the air. I run as though that I have not finished the race. You never run like you have finished the race, or you're going to fall. Take heed where you stand, lest ye fall. That's what that verse means. Watch where you're standing, or you're going to fall. The more you understand that concept, the more you're going to learn. And then you really truly will be wise. Wiser and wiser and wiser. You ever met somebody? Anybody, it doesn't matter what walk of life they're from. You ever met somebody, though, usually older person, where being around them makes you feel almost dirty because they're a good person, they're wise, everything that comes out of their mouth just seems like just an epic type of wisdom. You ever met somebody like that? Do you know how they got like that? That's how they got like that. One of the reasons why people, even when I didn't want them to, trust me, I wasn't even ready for any of that. That's this stuff that I'm doing now. One of the reasons why people just naturally just come up to me and I start talking to me. When they start talking to me, they just realize I know all this stuff. When they realize that, I never get left alone again. Because I believe, and I think I can prove this. I wish I could do a survey, just knocking on people's door. Of course, then I might get a shotgun in my face or something. But I wish I could ask people a question. A couple questions, actually. One, do you think you're perfect? Two, what would you like to learn? And I would be willing to bet any amount of money that everyone has something. But then, why aren't they that thing? Why haven't they learned that thing? Because someone along the way told them, why bother? Maybe it's a secret want. I want to learn how to play the guitar. I want to learn how to play the trumpet. I want to learn how to play keyboard. I want to learn graphic design. I want to make a movie. I want to do this, do that. I have all sorts of wants. By the way, I don't want all those things. I'm saying that people think like that. Why aren't you that then? Why do I see you go to your work? You go to your work every day, and you're a good little boy, you're a good little girl, and you do the same things every single day, but you have this one inside you that you've never even bothered to try. Because, Daryl, people need to eat. Your dreams aren't going to feed you. You know what? You're right. Your dreams are not going to physically feed you. Do you know what I know? Having no dreams will kill you. You have died inside. Without any, if your only want in life is to put food on your table, and that's why you do things, good luck. Don't invite me over, because I find that utterly boring. And I can't honestly take a person seriously or listen to a person's advice that can't even listen to their own advice. That's why I lead by example. When I talk, one of the main things that I think about every day is how can I show you guys how to do this stuff? Because I mean, I talk to Lori and I talk to other people, you know, and you know, I get compliments and things like that about whatever. But one of the greatest things about Lori, for example, is she has given me several compliments that are more important to me than anything she could ever say about one of my videos. Because it means that it's working, that she's noticing, that I'm affecting the way she sees things. Same thing with Sophia or anybody else, any of y'all that watch this. I'm not here to just give you advice. I want to show you how to do it. And I want you to tell me something new about yourself at some point. Using the ingredients and the steps, I want you guys to report back to me and tell me, Daryl, I did this. Daryl, I tried this for the first time. Right? So I want you guys to think on that. I'll be on Friday. It's really cold outside, so anybody who's in the DFW area, and I'm sure around the country too, if you're anywhere pretty much in the middle United States, please be safe when you're outside. Make sure you're wearing the correct attire, as it were. Be safe when you're driving. Be safe when you get there. Be understanding of one another. Not just from your perspective, but from theirs. Be understanding of yourself, that you have limits, but you also can learn things that are new. And remember, life is fleeting. You are not promised your next breath. So take now, go outside your box. You never know what you may find out. And you never know what you may learn about yourself. So until Friday, may the Lord of Light guide you in all things. Goodbye.